All right, we're going to give you just a quick tour. Honestly, don't know how long this will take. If you got questions, comments, definitely throw them in there. If you're a mechanic and you got some ideas for me or some critiques, let me know as well. I'm just going to give you a quick overview. I've been a mechanic for 25-ish years. My systems are always evolving, always changing. Tools are changing. One of the things that I bought early on is the snap-on flank drive wrenches. As well as you'll notice I use a lot of the real estate in the lid of my cart. If I ever had to work at a shop that you had to close it, obviously that wouldn't be feasible for the way I have this cart set up. But as long as I've been doing this now, if I were ever in a shop like that, I hate to say it, but they got wheels for a reason. You need to find a better shop. So I like things fairly organized, but I'm also working on a variety of things all the time. So you can see we've got some different Torx bits here, obviously Snap-on, some stubby Allens there as well. One of the things, I have a lot of Snap-on ratchets, but I really like these Mac Axis ratchets. And so these are one of my favorites. You'll see some Snap-on pop up here in a minute. This one also is a little stubby Mac. Haven't had it very long, haven't used it very much, but it's a wonderful little ratchet, little ratchet, 3/8 drive ratchet. I am a big 14.4 Snap-on guy. This is their giant light. A good buddy of mine hooked me up with this Milwaukee flashlight. I have very good vision still. My hearing, I should have protected it a little bit more. If you're a mechanic getting into it, you're not too cool to wear hearing protection, and I should have done that. You can see I've been master certified advanced level specialist for a lot of years. I've recertified several times. Sockets is a big thing. Very good friend of mine asked me when him and I first started working together like 15 plus years ago, why I have so many sockets. I got as many sockets as it takes me to get the job done. So it is what it is. I'm not going to be the guy that has one 10 millimeter and hunts for it for hours. I'm going to pick another one up and we're going to get this job done. Big fan of the Snap-on, obviously screwdriver sets. Those are kind of oddball stuff. This one right here for getting hoses off, that's been an awesome one. As we kind of come down here in the base, I keep these here. They're on a magnetic rail. These are Cornwell. I've had a few sets of these over the years. This is what I keep loose that I can grab and dive under a piece of equipment or car or whatever, so I've got a full set of sockets. Right here, we'll put that back while we're here. That's a stubby set of FTX, I believe is what Snap-on calls it, semi-deep sockets. These are all deep 1/2 drive. I believe those are Mac, if I remember right. I forget what theirs is called. They have teeth in them, and really, a lot of guys will kind of give me crap about the amount of money I spend on tools. But when they get in a bind or something rounds off or they don't know what to do, they typically come and borrow it from me. So that's what a lot of this has come from over the years. Indexing. Pry bar, I've got a job that I'm using it on. This is a really cool kind of universal inner tie rod tool. I use it quite a bit so it stays out here. You can see a fairly new set of Snap-on pry bars. I kind of upgraded those. This I truly do use as a work cart. It's obviously not made for this, but been a really big piece of what I do. I do keep my gloves down under there just to save on some space. These are extra oddball, screwdrivers, pliers, trim tools, whatever it takes to get the job done. So that's kind of the top, what I got going on in there. Every mechanic's, I'm going to speak for the mechanics I know, they kind of have a hodgepodge drawer. And like I said, I could have cleaned this up, but I didn't. This is how I work with it. So this drawer has like what I would consider a lot of consumables. So Tessa tape, I actually learned about this from South Main Auto. He uses it. Absolutely awesome. Really good. Lot of Teflon tape in there. Different varieties of gasket maker for different applications. I do have a set of wobble socket extensions. Those are handy. I don't use them terribly often. Blowgun, lighters, not for crack, I assure you. For heat shrink, for doing electrical repairs. Just different kind of odds and ends. That's kind of a messy drawer. Like I said, we're going to keep this real. This one here, a little bit more organized. A lot of ratchets. I said, you know, I like my axis ratchets, but there's a ton of snap-on ratchets in here. This was one they came out with recently that I really like. It is on their 1/4-inch drive frame, but it has actually got a 3/8 drive in here. They do a very good job with their ratchets. We have some different stubby wrenches, gear wrenches as well. Just odds and ends, O2 specialty wrench, different 1/2-inch and 3/8 drive extensions. These are my bleeder wrenches, do a lot of brake work. And then just miscellaneous. This was one I bought as a whim, and I thought, why in the world would I ever need a stubby 1/2-inch drive wobble ratchet? And I actually used the crap out of this thing. This thing is great. So one of those things, I thought, well, I don't have one of those. Let's try it. This is the pliers drawer here. Majority of it is snap-on. Big fan of them. And then the rest of it's probably Knipex, Knipex. Leave in the comments. Maybe I'll figure it out one of these days. Or maybe it doesn't matter anyway. So just, you know, snap ring pliers, all your good stuff. I will say these were a big fad. And they're really actually live up to the hype. These needle nose snap-on. You can see the part number there. Pliers are absolutely wonderful. The plier rack, I think I did get that from Snap-on. May have been Amazon. But it does help keep things a little more organized. This here, if I can use a 1/4-inch drive socket, I'm going to use a 1/4-inch drive socket. If I could get a 1/4-inch drive 19mm socket, I would do it. And I heard a guy tell me that years ago, and I thought, man, that's the craziest thing ever. But longer I was in the business, I thought, man, they just fit in places that others don't. This is a gray pneumatic set. I usually have to replace and buy a new one of those every probably 5 to 7 years. You'll lose one or two or break one or two, and it's just cheaper to buy a new set. A lot of E-sockets, extra old wobble sockets as you break one or two, and unfortunately in the tool industry, you'll lose a dealer, and then you have a partial set and you can't get them warranted. This is a good example right here. That is a Cornwell socket. I don't know if that comes through. There's nothing wrong with this socket, but I broke enough of them that I just bought a full set from a dealer that showed up all the time. This is another example here. So these are gear wrench. That is a Cornwell socket because I broke it and I didn't have a gear wrench dealer. Some of you may leave in the comments, and that's fine. You know, you could mail it in and they'll send you a new one. I get that, but the tool guy comes. I owe him money every week anyway. Sometimes you might as well just pay him and get you another set. Time is money. Some other wrenches, obviously. A lot of my, I guess they would be a flare nut wrench is what you would call them. I really like the ones that have the flare nut and the open end. And they're a real beefy open end. Typically I use Snap-on or buy Snap-on. A lot of dead blow hammers. The Mac anti-vibe hammer is really a good one. And then these are just gear wrench. They are the flexible and then zero offset. They're really nice. I like those quite a bit. This one here is a little bit of just kind of miscellaneous stuff. A lot of my fuel disconnect connect tools, a bit set there, nut drivers, old ones, new ones. I found those on eBay, really cheap, like 50 bucks a set. So you can see you've got standard and metric both there. And then this is probably one of the most used tools that I have and use. And this is their flex head. I think it goes maybe 350 foot-pounds, and it does angle, newton meters, the whole deal. Worth the money. Expensive, but worth the money. And then the last drawer here, as we come up on about 10 minutes, is some sets. So those are going to be like Torx, Allens. You can see a tie rod set. A little bit of pneumatic stuff. You'll still see their air hammer in there. And then some of my Overflow cordless stuff. So 3/8 and 1/4-inch long neck ratchet. You can see there's an old Mac. I've had that thing probably 15 years. Impact in there. A new descaling tool from Snap-on. I think down in the bottom is an old ball joint press, and then slide hammer, and then just some miscellaneous bits. So essentially I'm keeping this real with you guys. This is what I work out of all the time. If you've got some thoughts, if you're a mechanic and interested in this content, if you're not and you want to hear this, shoot me a like, shoot me a subscribe, and we'll keep making some content.